Laura, and this is my channel, Laura in Real Expat Life. If you are new here, welcome. How's everybody doing? I got outside for the first time today, you guys. And by outside, I mean I went to a cafe, I sat down with a friend and I had a coffee. I haven't done that in probably close to 3 months because it was a couple of weeks before quarantine started that I actually got to get out of the house for a little bit. So that was really exciting. I put jeans on for the first time in like 3 months because usually with the kids and the dog and the exercise, running and hiking and all that jazz, I usually wear joggers or leggings most of the time. So I had jeans on, did my makeup, I kind of did my hair. I mean, that's about as done as it gets anymore. Yeah, so that was lots of fun. I hope everybody's quarantines are lifting a little bit and people are getting out and enjoying life a little bit more. It's nice to kind of feel like life is getting back to normal a little bit. Yeah, but aside from that, we are doing my 10 favorite things for babies today, like under 12 months I'm talking. Now, there's a huge range in what babies can do between 0 and 12 months. So I know this is gonna cover a lot of ground, but what I wanna do is I'm not gonna focus so much on like toys and activities. I have 1 or 2 that I'm gonna throw in. But we didn't buy a whole lot of baby toys for the most part. We had a couple of little books and things that were really had black and white and red pictures in them for the babies, and we had a little exercise thing on the floor with, you know, things hanging over that the baby could play with. What are those called? I think they're called like a baby gym or something like that. That's pretty much a lot of the toys we had were also toys that we knew that the kids would play with later. They were boxes for stacking, and okay, with 0 to 3 months, they're not going to be playing with that much, but once they get to 4 or 5 months and they're sitting up, they can play with a lot of the same toys that older kids can play with too. You know, obviously you want to be careful that they don't have any like small objects that the kids can put in their mouth and swallow or choke on or anything like that. But a lot of the toys that my kids still play with now, we bought when my kids were under a year old, and they still play with them now. And I just believe in buying toys for longevity and not for every 2 months of their lives in the beginning, because they change so much. So what I want to go over today is just some of my favorite like baby things that I had that really made life easier. So let's get into those. One of my favorite things that I highly suggest that every single person on the planet that has a child under the age of, I don't know, I would say at least 6, a sound machine. I mentioned this in my 12 to 18 month video as well, but I didn't have it as an example because my kids were sleeping already and they had these. Both of my kids have one of these. Ezekiel hasn't had it for all of his life, but I would say by the time he was 4 or 5 months old, he was sleeping with a sound machine. I found that, especially with apartment living, sudden noises will wake the kids up so easily, either at night or during nap time, whatever. And in Spain, the apartments, I feel like you can hear everything going on in your neighbors' houses, be it, you know, on the side, down below, up above, next door. It doesn't seem to matter, let alone what's going on out on the streets. So we really found that having a sound machine, not turned extremely high, just at an okay level, but at least gave a constant noise that sudden noises didn't wake the kids quite so easily. It's really simple, it just plugs into the wall. It also does have a place for batteries, but I find the batteries go dead really quickly. It's kind of just for an emergency if it's really stormy or something in the area and you're afraid the power is going to go out often, that I would make sure that your batteries are in there, because I do know that if this turns off, my kids will probably wake up. But otherwise, it just plugs straight into the wall, and it's electrical. You just turn it on, you select which sound you want, and that's it. Another thing, especially when you have a new baby, is a room thermometer. And this one I really like. It's called GroEgg. I would plug it in, but I don't have an outlet on this wall, which, you know my opinion about outlets in European homes if you've seen my living in Germany versus living in Spain video about apartments and living. You know what, I'm gonna take you over here. Please ignore my dirty kitchen at the moment. I'm going to take you over here and we'll plug you in. So this is what it does. It turns on, it gives you the temperature, which it says is 24.1 right now, degrees Celsius. And it has on the back also, it has this list of what happened, what each color of the egg means. So red means that it's too warm. It means it's over 24 degrees Fahrenheit. Orange means that it's warm, 20 to 24. And yellow means it's the recommended temperature, which is 16 to 20 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, it's a little cold Fahrenheit. And then blue is too cold and it's under 16 degrees Celsius. So right now it's obviously too warm because it's summer in Spain and everything is too warm. So yeah, I highly recommend that. It's been a great thing to have just because in the winter it can get really cold, and a lot of the places that we've lived here, we don't have heaters in the rooms. Like the place that we live in now, we have a heater in the living room, but that is it. We have no air conditioning or heating in the rest of the apartment. So the kids' bedrooms don't have heat. So it was nice to kind of know, okay, does it just feel too cold? Is it really too cold? How warm should we dress the kids? What kind of pajamas should we be putting on them? Same thing for the summer when it gets really, really hot here. Again, we don't have air conditioning in the rooms, so we put up fans, but it's nice to kind of gauge, is it too cold still to put up fans? Do we need to? Do we not need to? And we kind of have gotten an idea over the last few years of where that point comes in the temperature of when we feel like a fan needs to be put on, or when the heaters need to be put on, or anything like that. We have space heaters that we can put in the kids' rooms if we need to. So that has been really handy, especially when I was a new mom and I was really worried about, is the baby too hot? Is the baby too cold? When they don't regulate their temperature as well by themselves. My son is now old enough to put a blanket on himself, but I think he was 3 years old before he was really doing that. So it was more for my peace of mind than a necessity. Another thing on the side of sleeping are sleep sacks. Now I have a couple of different ones, and it's basically just it's like a wearable sleeping bag. If you've never seen these, it's a little thing that zips up the middle. You put their little arms through here, their head is here, and it just gives them something to kind of, it's like having a blanket on top of you that you wear. I really love them. It kind of signals to my daughter also. My son never wore them because when he was born, the timing of it was like the heat of summer when I stopped swaddling him, and it just was too hot to wrap him up in anything. So I never really used them with him, but my daughter has almost always worn one. Even during the summer, she has these really thin ones made out of muslin. My mom made me these, so I'm afraid I don't have any links to them, but just Google or put into Amazon baby sleep sack and you'll find them. I'll try and link some down below so you have an idea of what they are. But they're really great, and we use them as part of our nighttime routine for my daughter since the beginning, just to kind of signify this is, you know, part of bedtime is you get put in this little sleep sack, and I don't have to worry. I have different levels of thickness to make sure that she stays nice and warm during the summer and nice and cool during to make sure she stays nice and warm during the winter and cool during the summer. I'm having a hard time talking to you guys today. So really love those. Another thing my daughter uses for sleeping that my son never did, he puts his thumb in his mouth to suck, did from a very early age, and he never got onto a pacifier. My daughter did take to a pacifier fairly quickly, and I found that having these, they're called WubbaNubs. I don't know who they're by. Who are you by? WubbaNub. I don't know. It's just called WubbaNub. I will link it down below. There's all sorts of different animals, and they're just fantastic because when she loses it at night, she doesn't have to look around for just this little binky part. It's a lot easier for her to hold and grab and find the stuffed animals. So she actually sleeps with 2 or 3 of these in her bed, and we have leashes for them. These are really great. My mom made me these. They just snap on around things, and then they have this little clip. I don't know what these are called. I don't think they're called alligator clips, but they just clip onto like her sleep sack or her pajamas, and she doesn't lose her we call it Ellie. She doesn't lose her pacifier at night. She sleeps really well with that. It's not long enough to get wrapped around her in any way or anything like that. Let's do this. This is a muslin blanket swaddle. And you guys, I used these so much when my babies were little. They are amazing for swaddling. They stretch, they breathe, they're really lightweight, so the kids don't really notice them that much. Really fantastic, highly recommend. You do have to know how to swaddle. Now there are a lot of different swaddles out there that like Velcro and things, so look into that. I never did use any of those. I just swaddled my baby in a blanket, but they're really great. I used to use one to use as a cover up for nursing until I got something else, which I'll show you in a minute. And I use them as just a blanket over the baby when we were traveling, and in the front carrier, which I'll also show you in a second. You know, if the baby was sleeping and we were out walking, I could kind of tuck this up and over the head, especially in the summer, and it was very breathable and it wasn't too hot for the baby. So these work really good. They are so multi-purpose. I got it as a present for people. I got this as a present when my son was born, and I used it so much. I went out and bought like 10 more of them because I just loved them so much. And they're one of the things I give as a baby gift. If you need a baby gift for somebody, these are such a fantastic universal thing to have. I'll link down in the description. Everything I'm talking about, I will try and find a link for in both America and Spain, to link in the description, so you guys will have an idea of what those are. Since I was talking about them earlier, I'm going to talk about this, which is a cover up. Now there's lots of different styles of these. My mom actually made me this one. My mom's an amazing sewer, you guys. She makes me so many things. I don't know what I would do without her. But yeah, so it's just basically a square of material, or a rectangle, I suppose. And it has, I don't know what this is inside. It's like plastic kind of boning, like, you know, you would put in a corset or something. And it just goes part of the way, and then there's a tie, and you just put it over your little head, and the baby can nurse, and you're covered up. And that's just if you don't feel comfortable nursing in public, or you go out a lot, or I also use this in exchange for the muslin when the babies were sleeping and we were on an airplane or something. The boning like opens it up at the neck here so that you can look down and check on the baby, especially if they're sleeping or something, but it just kind of covers them up a little bit for a lot of different situations. I mostly used it on the airplane when I traveled both to America and to, why am I doing this in here? When I traveled to America, we've traveled to visit family on the peninsula, I've gotten a lot of use out of those. Now, Jordan Page at funcheaperfree.com, she has a line, I think it's called MoryJune. I will check on that and link it in the description also. She has a really cool cover like this that she came out with not too long ago, and it has like sleeves, so it really doesn't move around. I think it covers part of the back as well. I'm not really sure about that, but I know it has sleeves and it's got a really big covering in the front. So it looks really cool. The other thing I mentioned a couple minutes ago is a front carrier. Now, you guys, there are a million different front carriers for babies and kids of all ages. I've had a couple of them. I have used a Baby Bjorn. I have used a Tula. I don't know what kind of carrier it was, just a basic Tula, I think. I will link it in the description, the one that I had. And then I've had LilleBaby. And for me personally, the LilleBaby I have liked the best. The nice thing about the LilleBaby, I think it's called LilleBaby 360. You can wear it in so many different ways. It can be a front pack, it can be a back pack, it can be a side pack. There's so many different things you can do with it. I had a hair in my mouth, and it's really bugging me. You can wear it in so many different ways. It was more comfortable for me to wear than the Tula Carrier. I did have the Tula with the baby infant insert, so I was able to use it when my baby was really small. I had that one first, and then when he was about 4 or 5 months old, I wanted to get one where the baby could face out. Like, he loved to be facing you, and he loved to sleep in it, and he lived in that thing. He loved it. And so I really, as he was getting older, I wanted something where he could face out. So I got this one because he can face, you put them in it, put these on, and then you put the baby in, and when they're sleeping and they're facing you, you can kind of put this up and it supports their head. When they're really, really little babies, you put this up so that their head doesn't wobble around, and really supports it well. As they get older and they have more neck control, you can put it down. It has loads of little clippies to make sure things aren't flying around and held still. And then when they face forward, when they're about, I think they have to have control of their head, and best is when they're sitting up by themselves, then you kind of know they're ready to be facing forward. Usually it's around 6 months. So you put them in it forward and they can see the world, and I'll tell you, my daughter doesn't like to be any other way. She doesn't go in here very much. She actually has been very independent and wants to be down walking, probably because she has a brother she wants to go play with. So she doesn't love this and spend as much time in it as he did. He was probably, I don't know, at least 18 months. I remember I took it on my flight to America that I did alone with him when he was 18 months old. I took that for him to sleep in because I knew he wasn't going to just fall asleep on my lap. And I stood up for 2 hours with him, and he slept in that the whole 2 hours, and it was fantastic. So I think you can carry up to 4 years old. I'll have to check on what the actual weight limitations on that are, and I will put it down in the description when I link this. But it is really good. You can use it for years. So there's that. The other kind of wrap I really like, or carrier that I really like is a Moby Wrap. And I wish I had my Moby Wrap right now, but I had it out to do this video earlier today. And my kids were playing with it and I have no idea what they've done with it. So I have looked all over the apartment looking for this thing so that I could do my video this afternoon, and they have done something with it. So I don't have it with me, but I will link some videos and I will link some pictures of it here. But yeah, it is a fantastic thing. It looks really intimidating at first because it's basically just this big long strip of material that you strategically wrap around your body. But they're also often on, like, you can get them used because, I don't know, I think people do use them for older babies, but I found it was the most comfortable and the most secure for me to use when my baby was newborn to, I don't know, a couple of months. We didn't use it for very long because we had the other carriers. And once she got a little bit bigger, I didn't mind putting her in one of the regular ones. But when she was this little itty bitty thing, and I just felt so much more secure to have her really tight against me and really secure, and she loved it as well. This was given to me as a gift from a friend, but it is called Neat Solutions for Children, and it is a placemat, a portable placemat, and it's like this silicone. The one side, there's a smooth side that helps it from sliding around on tables, and then there's a rougher side that you put the actual food in. We did baby-led weaning with both of our kids, and so they never did the whole like feeding purees or anything to our kids. They ate real food, and so when we were out going to cafes or visiting family or anything like that, and we were outside, this was the easiest thing to put down on the table and then put their food on top of it. And then I didn't have to worry about how clean the tables were or anything like that. It folds up really easy and squishes into the diaper bag really with no problem. It's really easy to just wash and clean. And so I think that, oh, one more thing. I mentioned this in my other video, but I wanted to mention it again because little babies under 12 months are teething also, and this has been a lifesaver for us. It is a little banana, teething banana, and it does technically have bristles on it for a toothbrush. I did trim them off because Corinthia was pulling them off with her front teeth, but she loves this. When she is teething and when she has soreness in her gums, she will chew and chew and chew and chew on this. These little handles make it really easy to hold. It's kind of a silicone-y rubber, and so it's not slippery or anything. It has, you know, I've attached it with one of these leashes. I just put it around the handle and then I can attach it to her or to the stroller, and it doesn't get lost then, and it's always there. It was so good. You can put it in the refrigerator or make it a little bit cold so that it's relieving for their teeth. Guys, I think that is it for my 10 favorite baby things. I hope you got some use out of this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when I've uploaded my next video, and we will talk to you then. Okay, ta-ta for now.